Okay, so let us be back to VS Code, and I think a very good concern asked by. Okay, just a minute. Let me share the screen. Share, share the screen. Yeah, and in the chat window. So Jana has asked a very good query, saying that the input list will be like a static, which is given in the tutorial.pdf. Starting in the sense the name of the list will remain the same, but of course while testing our program I will change the input, right? So that is like a test case for you, but ensure that this will always remain set of positive numbers only, right? So nothing to worry much. So today we are on 17th August, so just in VS Code file open folder and please come to the 17th August folder, right? So few programs were remaining in functions yesterday, so let us start one by one, right? So basically, this program basically deals with variable length arguments, right? Just a minute. Okay, variable length arguments means what are variable length arguments? So for example, let's say I have defining my list as 1, 2, 3, and I'm printing the type and my list, right? Type basically tells you what type of data type it is, right? Now this is a tuple which I have not covered. These are similar to list, having some special properties, but technically if you see, there is a difference of only bracketing. There is a square bracket here, there is a round bracket here, right? The only difference here is bracketing, that's it. uh, Ayush, I will get to your doubt. Fine. So my list is this. So when I do print of my list, let me just write an exit function here so that you can get an idea of what is happening. So when I run the code, you can see 1, 2, 3, the class it says is a list. In Python, everything is a class. Fine. So just forget the term class, as of like classes and objects are there. So everything is Python is a class and an object. So you can see this is a tuple, square round brackets, so square brackets. So that is 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 is a tuple. Right now, let me see what I have defined here. So I'm defining a summation function, and in summation functions, I'm doing asterisk numbers, right? So don't get too much bogged down by, oh no, my God, these are pointer arithmetic and all, nothing of that sort, right? Just a way of passing parameters. So this summation function, what it does, for every number that it takes for x in numbers, it reads and prints the value. Now let us see what we are doing here. See, now we are calling the summation function, right? The summation function, I am passing 70, 60, 50, 30, 6, 7, 34, 43, 32. So roughly I am passing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am passing 9 values to the summation function, right? Technically, to what we have learned till yesterday, it should have been something like this. Value 1, value 2, up to, I'm just using a shorthand, up to value 9. Right, this is what we learned yesterday, that we need a one-to-one mapping between the function parameters which are called and the function parameters which are expected, right? But since Python supports a variety of data types and it's quite powerful in terms of scripting, the Python interpreter says that, see, when you have so many parameters, if you keep on defining val1, val2, val3, it will take a lot of time. So instead of this, just type this as star numbers. Star numbers, basically just like in our pointer arithmetic, will give me the starting point of the first element, the starting point of the first element of the parameters passed. Starting point of first element. So it's like, okay, I am passing you a set of number. I am passing you a set of numbers. The starting number is 70, right? So what happens in the numbers, basically this entire thing comes out 70, 60, 30, 42. So now you can see the output is, we will print the type of numbers, and then for every number we are printing on the screen. So let me just run the code. So you can see here the class is tuple, right? It is not a list. So internally all these numbers are passed as a tuple. Tuple we will see in the later classes. Right now just assume it exactly like lists, right? So whatever you can do on list, you can do on tuples, only that tuples is read only. Now why it is read only, we will see in the later classes. Right now just assume tuple is just like a list with a round parenthesis. So you can see that I just use star numbers here, and all my numbers. See, for x in numbers, number is just a single variable here for x in numbers, but when I'm using a for loop, you can see in the output I can read all the numbers: 70, 60, 53, 6, 7, 34, 43. So in case you have a large number of inputs to be passed to the main to a particular user defined function, you can just use this particular clause. Fine. This works very well. Again, we have a variable length argument. This is basically known as a variable length argument, and you can see the help file I have commented out here. An asterisk is placed before the variable name that holds value of all non-keywords. Right? Now non-keywords because of course you cannot keep a keyword as a function catching parameter. Fine. So this is how you pass a variable length argument. See, even if I change this, so let's say let me delete 4 values and now let me run again, the program will still run correctly. You can see 70, 60, 53, 6. So you can dynamically change. So star numbers means whatever amount of variables it can have, so it has no issues. Okay. To what I remember, I think this should also work. Because tuples and lists are same, you can have mixed data types also. So when I run this code, you can see it prints CS384 also. So you can have whatever you wish to using this variable number of arguments. Right? Okay. Now one more thing that we need to see here is like in this particular case. Now for example, let me just run the code first. Okay, in Python, there is a data type which is known as dictionary. We will again come back to that dictionary a bit later. But let me just show you there are two methods of passing the function parameter. So for example, I'm clearing the screen here. In the bio data, you can see I have star star info. Now you may be asking, it's like a double pointer. No, it's not a double pointer. What happens here, see I'm calling the bio data function. Star means it's a variable length argument and double star means we need to accept that input as a dictionary. Dictionary again is a data type in Python. We will come back to it shortly, right? So you need not worry. So you can see in bio data, I am passing name is equal to Joker, age is equal to 44 and hobby is equal to painting. Fine. So what basically dictionary means is that, let me, okay, just run this code. Let me just show you on the dashboard. See, when you read an English dictionary, right? Let's say when you are reading an English dictionary. So what happens here? So let's say you have a word and then you have a meaning. Let's say the word is Joker, right? So it will be written on the left hand side, Joker. So you can, the meaning will be something like a performer who entertains crowd at the circus, right? So you get in an English dictionary, there are two things, right? One is the word, right? This is the word. This is always unique. And another is the meaning, right? Now it is possible that multiple words may have similar meaning or exactly the same meaning. Fine. In English, we have multiple words that have the same meaning, right? Like mixing and amalgamate. Right? Both means basically mixing of liquids. But on the left hand side, right, this is unique always, right? Unique in the sense there will be no different, there will be no duplicate word for the word Joker. Joker will appear on the left hand side. So when we talk about Python data types, when we actually discuss about dictionaries, the point of contention is that the syntax is more like this: key and value, right? Now from the keyword itself, you can come to know, see, keys are usually meant to be unique, right? Every house door has a unique key, right? Every cycle has a unique key. And this is the value. Value can be anything. Value can be same or different, right? So what happens here, we will again see more examples on this. I am calling the bio data. So on the left hand side is my key. See, I'm saying name is equal to Joker, age is equal to 44 and hobby is equal to painting. So on the left hand side I have the key, right hand side I have the value. If you don't understand this, it is a bit cryptic. Don't worry, we will see dictionaries in more details. The primary objective of this class was just to show that okay, we can pass a variable length arguments as a tuple that we saw in the previous case, and as a dictionary also that we are seeing in this particular case, right? And you can see what I'm doing when I'm printing, right? I'm taking in the info, and within info I am actually printing the age. You can see what is the age is 44. So info basically contains this as an entire dictionary, and within dictionary I can either print name, age, or hobby. So let me just show you how the things will work. So let me just type here name. Oh, it has to actually match, and let me keep hobby. So when I run the code, you can see 44 Joker and painting. Now let's see if you give something which is invalid, right? Let me write state, and now this will print an error. You can see key error. Key error means it's like an invalid word in the dictionary. There is nothing like a state here. So this is providing you the error. Don't worry, we will again see more details about this. Right, okay. The next topic is debugging. Today I am skipping it. Right, I need to take more better example here for explaining you the debugging stuff. Okay, general Windows shortcut. Actually, I had prepared this, but I forgot to, write down the shortcuts. This again I will take tomorrow. Right, see, whenever you do programming, it is always better that you make use of more shortcuts, right? So that your task becomes easier. Like one of my favorite is, for example, when you want to duplicate a line, right? So in VS Code, if you want to duplicate a line, use the Shift, Alt, and down arrow key. So you can see it copies the line to a down line. If I use control, Shift, Alt, up arrow key, it will again duplicate, but duplicate on the upside, right? So many times it happens that we want to use the print statement and then a similar print statement. So just use Shift, Alt, down arrow key, right? You can have as many duplicates, as many duplicate lines that you want. Fine. People using PyCharm can use Shift F10 to execute, and the best part is directly come here and see whatever you wish to do. You always see the shortcuts here. What are the associated shortcuts? So you may actually feel that okay, see, a copy line up, copy line down, which is what I was showing you. It also has a move feature. You just remove the shift feature, it will actually move. Fine. Then like select all occurrences is Shift L. Fine. Then rename occurrences, I think F2, right? F2. So you can rename the instance. So always try to use some shortcut keys that actually help you to speed up your programming also, right? Okay, now we come to the basic data structures in Python. To some extent, we have seen these data structures, at least the lists we have seen, right? So for the list example, I will just move a bit fast. And then for the tuple and for this dictionary, we will take some time. Fine. So let us start with this. So now we are on module 5. Module 5 is basic data structures. So we have import OS. We are clearing the screen. Fine. And then we have, see, 3 lists now: subject years, numbers list, and characters list. As you have already seen in Python, a list can compose of anything. It can be only numbers, only integers, only floats, only characters, but it can have a mix of all of them also. So very powerful data type in Python is list, right? So I'm just having 3 lists and I'm printing the value of 3 lists. So this is almost very easy for you all to understand. Let me exit the code and run the code till here. So you can see the 3 lists are basically compiled and displayed here. One thing to remember is that Python very intelligently identifies that okay, anything which is string will always be printed as a quote in the output, and anything which is a number will always be printed out as a number, right? And if you are confused if a particular data type is what, so what you can do, you can just write type, and let's say type 12. Now I do not know whether 12 is an integer or float or anything else, so let me just type print and type here. So you can see it says class integer. Let me make it 1.2. So it should print as class float. You can see it printing class float. Now the same thing, if I enclose within the quotes, so even though it's a number, it will actually print as a string, like class str, right? String is a class in Python, right? So now let us remove the exit here. So you have already seen here how the list works. So subject TS of 0 basically prints the 0th element, that will print physics. Again 1 to 5, we have already seen this in the for loop. We will go from index 1 to index 5 but not include index 5, right? So in the numbers list, so this is 0. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? Fifth index anyways is not there. Even if it was there, it would not have printed. So let me just check this. Let us keep 666. So you can see 1 to 5 will only have these many elements. 1 to 5 basically says 5 minus 1, 4 objects. Right? So you can see, okay, length of the, okay, this was clear terminal. So that is why, right? So there is something of, okay, I am printing this CLS, hence it is coming. os.system is CLS. Okay, class, just a minute, okay? I put many CLS here actually. Let me just put an exit here. Fine, so you can see all three lists are coming. Now asterisk into 30 will print asterisk 30 times. Subject of 0 is nothing but subject of 0 is physics. Then 1 to 5, as we saw, it did not print 666. Then I'm printing the entire number list. The entire number list is 71, 12, 53 and 666. Index has two bits, 0, 1 and 2. So it is 53 obviously. Fine. So what I'm doing now, I am updating the list, right? How do you update a list? You write the name of the list and you just say the index. So number at 2 is 53. Now I'm replacing it with 2001, right? So you can see now the new number at index 2 is 2001. When I display, you can see this 53 is basically overwritten by 2001. I can even replace it with a string. String is joker. You can see now 2001 is actually replaced by a joker. Fine. So very easy. We have already seen this. So how to delete? See, now we are overwriting, right? So we wrote 2001 with joker. So there is a keyword here, del. Del means delete. You provide the list of your list. In this case, we have a numbers list, and you provide the index. Index is 2. Sin 2 is the index. Fine. So you can see now this will be deleted, right? So let me just delete here and then print here. So you will see it will become 71, 12, 44, 502, 666. So let me just run the code. You can see the joker is lost here. So if you want to delete an element from the list, basically it's a del function that you need to use. Right? So again, it's simple only. So os.system. Let me just clear all the above outputs so that you can get a clear view of the next outputs. See, you can see the subjects are being printed. Okay. Okay, now how do we concatenate two lists, right? You can see I'm using the plus operator here. Let me just take this in the backend. Okay, so see what I'm doing here, character list plus number list, right? So what was my character list? Character list is this and number list is this. So let me just come back to the drawing board. So let's say I have two lists, A is 1, 2, 3 and B is, let's say, 4, 5 and 6. So when I do A plus B, it basically will concatenate. So it will become 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Right? This is the output here. It does not become like, 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, 3 plus 3 is 9. It does not become like that. Right? This is wrong. So when you are using a plus operator, right? When you are using a plus operator, remember that the lists will be concatenated. You can concatenate as many lists as you want, right? Nothing to worry about it. Then how do we traverse a list? We have already seen that in the for loop exercise. You take a variable, any variable x, and traverse over the list. It will go one by one over the list, right? So you can see the number read is 17, 12, 44, 502, 666. And how do you refer to the last element in the list? We refer to the last element as -1. You remember we did the Python indexing that starts from the -1, fine. Second last element will be -2. Third last will be -3. Nth last will be -n, right? So what is the max element and the min element? Again, Python provides you two inbuilt functions which says max and min. Very obvious from the name. Max will give you the max out of a list and min will give the min out of a list. Right? Let us run the code. So you can see the max element in the list is 666, which is obvious. In this list, you can see the largest is 666 and the min should be 12 and the minimum is 12, right? So again the same thing. So let us see something which was asked. I think I'm really not sure about this. If a list has, like, subject is, let's say, an arbitrary subject which is 12, let us see what the max function actually outputs, whether it outputs an error or because see, if it is a strings, it will just match the ASCII value. It will start comparing the ASCII value of C, J and P. Whichever is the max ASCII value, it will print, right? So the P has a higher ASCII value, right, than the ASCII value of J and C. Similarly, a max element is this. So let me just try to add a number here. What does it output actually? Whether it's an error. See, it provides you an error. Type error is not supported instances of string and int. So when you are doing comparison like max of 12 and all this, it provides you an error, right? Because it cannot compare numbers with string. Either all numbers can be compared or all strings can be compared. Fine. So yeah, doubts are welcome, class. It's 12:25. Let's take a break for 5 minutes. You can refresh yourself. Doubts are welcome. We meet at 12:30. Yeah, Ayush, no IO operations. So these are really good doubts that you are asking. Yeah, Ayush, if you are present, then you need not perform any IO operations, right? So these are very good doubts that you are asking. So let me just note this down. Jana had asked a good query and Ayush also asked a good query. So let me just type this down. Hi class, so we are back. So this we have done with the lists. Okay, now another easy topic. So see, the advantage of Python is that it is providing you with so many built-in functions that even like a standard 6 or a 7 boy can actually learn Python. Right? The only downside is that you never know what is happening inside. Right? It appears like a magic only. But nevertheless, it has actually helped the world community embrace programming. So Python will always be indebted, fine, because unfortunately, in the first years, they teach C at times, which is good from a conceptual point of view. But the pointers, they make such a big dragon inside the mind that we start hate programming, right? It was the case for me also in my BTech. But now with Python, you just feel like you are on cloud nine. You just enjoy programming, fine. So again, the previous case only. So we have three lists: physics, chemistry. In this case, we will actually see what does list functions, how many list functions are there actually, right? So this all is same. So now you can see this is f string, which I have already seen. So basically we are printing the number list as it is. Now you can see there is a function called append, right? Append basically just sees that this number will be appended to the end of the list. So let me come to the drawing board. So in the drawing board, it is like this. For example, you have a list called 1, 2, 3, and you do I think this is dot append, right? Yeah, you do a dot append, let's say 42. So what happens here? The output becomes like this. A will be equal to 1, 2, 3, and since you have appended, it actually gets added to the list. And since it's a list, you can again do a dot append CS384. So A will become, oh sorry, I should have changed the pen color. 1, 2, 3, 42. And now let me change the pen color to brown. Fine, this is how the append function works. Very easy, from the name itself you realize. So let me put a exit clause here. Fine, so you can see this was our original list. We appended two numbers, so in the end it got appended. Fine, so let me just copy this line. Exit is to be commented out. We are clearing the system. So now if you want to check, for example, this is our list, right? You can see that 1 is appearing twice. Fine, 1 is here also, 1 is here, 52 is appearing once. You can just count how many times 1 is appearing. You just say numbers list dot count and 1. So 1 is appearing 2 times, so it will basically print how many times the number 1 is appearing. Okay, probably some OS system clear has been introduced. So you can see the output is 2 here. So now if, for example, if I keep it for 52, 52 is appearing only once, so it will come as only once, right? 52 is coming once, so it comes as 1 only, right? Again, I'm printing the whole numbers list, and then I'm printing the index of, so now index of 1 means, okay, let us not take index of 1, let us take index 555. What does this mean is, for example, wherever 555 is there in this list, at what index it is present, right? So we know that this is 0th index, 1 index, 2 index, 3rd index, and 4th index. So the output of this will be actually 4. So let me run the code. You can see the output of this is 4. Another example, let me take the index of 99. Right, of course we cannot see it manually. The index is 8. Now what happens in the case, now for example, see 1 is present twice in the list. So if I do this as 1, right, if I do this as 1, then what happens? It will return the first index. Even though 1 is present twice, it will return me the first index. Fine. Okay. So here we have another function known as insert function. Now see, append used to insert always at the last. Append used to insert always at the last. Here we are saying that insert minus 999 at 5th index. Right? So what is our 5th index? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at now 19 is there on the 5th index. So when I insert minus 999 here, this will be inserted between 555 and 19, so that minus 999 becomes the 5th index, and then basically the list will be printed. Let us see this. So you can see 555 19 was there, 19 was the 5th index, and 555 minus 999. So this is inserted at a particular position. So whenever you want to insert this at a particular position, you basically use the insert clause. So append is like an insert only, but it always inserts at the last location, right, at the end of the array. So now let me show you what does pop does. So now you can see there is a function called pop. Pop basically by default removes the last element, right? Just the last element. Like if you remember the stack operations that you studied in first year, in stack you used to push and pop, and everything was happening at the stack top. This is similar a function. The function name is same pop only. So you can see this is a number list here. And when I do a number list dot pop, I get 111 as the output. Why? Because 111 was the last element. If I do a pop again, then I will get 99, right? Because 99 is the last element, right? So you can see item popped is 99. If I just print the list again, this will basically be a list without 99. Fine. Again, there is a function called remove. What does remove do? Remove do basically removes the instance of 555. Right. Let me just check this out. So you can see 555 was removed from the list, and when I printed this list, there is no 555. 555 is removed, and directly after 450 minus 999 appears on the screen. Right. Similarly, there is a function called as sort. Sort does nothing, as the name says, arranges from lowest to highest. Just it reverses, I mean it basically sorts the array. Now you can see the power of Python. In C, when you studied, you had to use bubble sort, merge sort, insertion sort. Here you have a sort function in itself. Fine. Now we have a reverse function also. Reverse does nothing but just reverses the list. Right, let me just run the code again. You can see we had this particular list when we sorted, and now this is a reverse sorting, highest to lowest. It's more like a reverse sort in the list, you can see. And then list dot extend, right? So append the contents of a sequence to a list. So for example, here I have a numbers list and I'm extending it with the character list. So if we come to the start, we have a numbers list and a character list. Both are lists. Let us run the code, and you can see both the lists now basically are appended, right? In the output, both the lists basically are appended. That we actually saw the last time also. We can use the plus operator also. So there are even more functions with list. I am just covering the very basic functions. There are of course very much intuitive. Count how many times that number appears, index, right? At what index this number is present, insert to insert at a particular index, pop, remove the last element, remove the actual number if it is existing in the key, if it is existing in the list actually. Sort is alphabetically, or you can say numeric sort from lowest to highest, or ascending sort. Reverse is reverse sort, that means descending. Fine. Extend is concatenation of two lists. Fine. Okay, one another interesting application declaration in list is, see, for example, you just clear the screen. We have three lists here, right? We have already seen this, right? So for example, numbers list contains three elements, 1, 52, and 13. I am declaring three variables here, first, second, and third, and which is equal to num list. Now what is num list equal to? 1, 52, and 3. So just let me show you what happens here. Okay. So we have a number list which is 1, 10, and 12. And now you are declaring, let me change the pen color. You are declaring a variable a, b, and c is equal to num. So how does this expand? It's like a, b, and c is equal to 1, 10, 12, because num was our list. And now what happens? We have already seen in previous classes, respectively. 1 goes to a, 10 goes to b, and 12 goes to c. Right? This is how the declaration takes place. Now an interesting thing here, you can see this is a huge number list. How many elements it has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So technically I should have written first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, something like this. Now what I can do, I can use a shorthand. So I say first, second, and I do a star others. You can see star others. So now see what happens here. So when you do star others, it says, okay, the first one is assigned to first, 52 is assigned to second, and because we have only three variables here, we basically assign all of this to others. Let us see the output and it will make the things very clear. Right? So you can see this was the whole list. Right? Now when I do numbers list is equal to first, second and others, 1 went to first, 52 went to second, and all the remaining numbers were kept into others, but it was made as a list. Important thing is, so if you can see, let me just output the type of others. So you can see the type of others is list, right? And you can see this list is being created here, right? Now again, there is a very small shorthand. So what happens here? Now you can see I have the same number list. I have first, second, star others, and I have a last, right? So what happens? One gets assigned to 50 first, 52 gets assigned to second. Okay, let me keep this as 15. 15 gets assigned to last, fine, and between 15 and 52 it's assigned to others. Look how beautifully it is designed, fine. Let us see the output once. See how beautifully it is designed, right? You can just see this as the list, right? If I keep it as last, right, second last, so what will happen? 21 will come to second last and others will be as it is. Okay, I didn't print the value of second last, my mistake. Yeah, so you can see 21 and 15 are now assigned to s last and last, and others are assigned to this. So how nicely Python takes it. So guys, let us take a break for 5 minutes, actually 4 minutes, then we return at 12:49. Fine, doubts are welcome. 12:49 we return. Hi class, so welcome back. So the next part of the class is tuples, right? Tuples is just like list only. The only difference here is there is a round bracket here, right? So you can just come on the drawing board and see. List is like this, right? Square bracket. Oh, I'm sorry to use the red pen. So we have a list here, right? Just observe the bracket, it's a square bracket. And what is a tuple? Tuple basically is a circular bracket, round bracket, you can say. 4, 5, 8. Now you will say, why do you actually need tuple when you just need to change a bracket? And everything that you can do with list, you can also do with tuple, except one thing: tuples are read only. Now what do I mean by read only? So you cannot update tuple elements, right? So we will see what do I mean by could not update. So I have kept the same example as the previous case: subject, numbers, and tuple, right? And just a minute, recording is on, or yes. But you can see the round brackets here. So okay, let me just exit here, and let me just type here print, print, and let me just type of subject is. What is the type here? Right? Let me run the code. You can see the class is tuple and not a list. Why tuple? Because we have a curve around brackets. Then you can see the outputs are still same. From 1 to 5 is 12, 53, 54, 55. That is fine. So nothing to worry about. Now let us remove the exit clause. Clear the screen here. Let me uncomment the part. Fine, and let me put a exit here. right? So now, for example, what I'm doing, if you remember the previous example, right? If you see the previous example on list, you can see I had a list here, and using the, not this one. Yeah, see, I had a list here, a numbers list, right? The numbers list was containing so many elements. And when I did something like numbers list of 2 is equal to 2001. So what was happening at the index 2? It is 2001. Fine, it got updated. But this operation is not allowed in tuple. See, I'm doing numbers of 2 is 2001. So what I'm saying here is I want to update the index of 53, and basically the index of 2, which currently has the element 53, to 2001. But as I said, tuples are read only, so you cannot do this, right? See, the interpreter actually stops here itself. See, numbers 2 of tuple is 2001. It says type error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. Tuple object does not support item assignment means you cannot assign a tuple once you have already assigned a tuple. It remains as long as in the memory like a read only. Similarly, all these operations will also yield an error, right? Now I'm trying to assign it a joker. Again, it will give the same value. Tuple does not support item assignment. So this is what I meant when I said tuples are read only. So once defined, you cannot change it. Now then you may ask you, what is the use of tuples then, right? So for example, of course, this is an open elective, so there are students from different batches, right? Let us take the mechanical class, right, that took admission in 19. Let's say the class has 72 students, 1901 ME01 to 1901 ME72. Now the academic section knows that these are the roll numbers that will remain the same, right? Of course, forget the branch change, but these are the static roll numbers. So internally, if I want to make an attendance list for you guys, what I will do, I will keep the list of your roll number as a tuple, so that accidentally also this list does not get altered, or this list does not get changed, right? This is how the tuple is used, right? For example, your Aadhaar numbers, right? If you wanted to have an implementation in Python, you will keep the all India's Aadhaar number in a tuple, right? A 1 billion tuple, so that all nobody can modify the Aadhaar of anyone, right? So this is the use of tuples, and tuples are inherently fast as compared to lists. I will try to locate an example from Stack Overflow. I remember they had a very good example where they run a loop million times on a tuple and a loop on million times on a list, and then they show how fast the tuples are. Right. So let me now try to delete value. Right. You can see the values could not be updated. Now let us try to delete the value of a tuple. Right. See, tuple does not support item deletion. So you cannot delete the item of a tuple also. You cannot delete. Right. So again, this is also not possible. And let me just comment this out because we cannot delete a tuple element. See, but you can actually concatenate a tuple object. Right. Now you may say that, okay, concatenation is nothing but just like, addition of two or modification of two tuples. Concatenation is supported because it is joining of two tuples. It is not altering the two individual tuples, right? So it's like making a third tuple out of two tuples, right? So you are not modifying either the character tuple or a numbers tuple. Fine. So I'm just having a small example here, my list and my tuple, same elements, but you can see the difference is only in the bracket, right? Again, to access the tuple, you just use for x, right? That is the same as the previous case that we saw. And again, other things remain the same. To access the last element of the tuple, you can use -1. Second last is -2. All other things remain the same except they are, right? The max and the min also will remain the same. We already saw max and min tuple basically in this case will be 200. You can see the min is 200, max is Python. All other things remain the same. Only the assignment of the operators cannot be done, or updating of the operator cannot be done, or deleting of an operator cannot be done. That in that case, tuple is a read only one, right? So class, I think then it's 12:57 today. Okay, let us take the last program for the day. We just finish this off. Again, what are the functions which are supported by tuple? Right? Again, see the same subject tiers, numbers tuple and character tuple. Right? Let us go one by one. Right? Let us try to append. As you know, we cannot alter tuple, so it will be an error. Right? Tuple object has no attribute append. Why it does not have? Because you cannot alter tuple. Since you cannot alter tuple, there is no use of even defining the function. Fine. Let us see how much is the print coming. This will actually run. Okay, we probably did a clear screen here. How many occurrence of 1 are present in the list? So it says 0 occurrences. Why? You can see in this list there is no 1 present here. Right? Let me just make it 71. So I think it should appear. See, 71 appears one time. So this function is working here. Right? Again, anything relating to indexing will work. Right? So I want to print the number at index 1, which is nothing but 12. But of course, insert cannot be done. It will pop an error now. Let us see the error. See tuple index. Okay, this is also not supported. Tuple index at x. Okay, okay. Let us see. Okay, returns the lowest index in which the object appears. Oh, sorry. This should not have been there. Okay, let me just check whether this is why it's giving an error. Let me just comment this out. Let us see whether it supports. Okay, tuple object has no attribute insert, then it does not support this one. Okay, let me just see whether index 71 comes or not, or then in case that I think it does not support the index operation also. No, it supports. Basically, one was not present in the array, in the tuple actually. So it popped, right? It popped a value error that value does not exist in tuple. So you can see for 71, it is giving the index as 0, right? So again, insert is not giving any output because you cannot modify tuples, right? Again, pop will not work. Why? Because pop is like deleting the element, which again will not support. Tuple object has no attribute pop. Obviously, it won't support. Right? Remove, as you can get clear, remove also will not be supported because it's an alteration. It will not support the operation. So anything that supports in that case, for example, sorted is supported. So it has a function called sorted, and in the sorted function you have to pass this thing. So it will help you sort the function. Fine. Similarly for reverse, let us see if we can extend the tuple. I think it should pop an error here also. So see, tuple has no attribute extend. Fine. Class, it's 13:01. I'm sorry, I'm being late by a minute. But this was just a last program, right? So class, if you have any doubts, you can ask, or we are done for the day. Thank you guys for attending the class. We meet on the next week. Tuples part 1.